school here. And Lord, it's just a blessing to be a part of this great district. And Lord, we again ask you to guide us in our decisions and bless those that are here and bless those that are involved in this. In Jesus Christ's name we pray.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start out Bobcat Pride and recognitions, and we had on here to recognize our girls cross country. Obviously, they're in class right now, so we're gonna put them on the December. We'll push them to the December. Mr. Heckrell, if you'd like to come up and do a recognition of Employee of the Month from Hallsville Intermediate.
All right, so welcome everybody. So this month we would like to recognize JT, or James Vickery, as Intermediate's Employee of the Month. Mr. Vickery joined Intermediate as an ETBU student teacher in the fall of 2021. After completing his student teaching and graduating, he accepted a reading position during January of 2022. So he went from math teacher to a reading teacher like that, and hit the ground running and took that group, and that group performed very, very well. His class did. Very proud of him for that. Mr. Vickery hit the ground running, establishing relationships with each of his students, the parents, and his fellow colleagues. He's excellent at relating to his students and connecting his lessons in a relatable way, makes all of his students feel welcomed and important. I'm impressed by his creativity and ease at which he makes all students feel included and valued. Mr. Vickery's lifelong learner and growth mindset is evident as he educates the young minds in his classroom. He is an excellent listener and observer. He is able to identify those students that are struggling on math concepts and provide extra support needed, thus making those students more confident with their math skills. Mr. Vickery approaches education as a lifelong learner with a growth mindset as he educates the young minds in his class, leaving a lasting impression on all of the students' lives. He impacts everything from their classroom learning to their long-term success. Mr. Vickery has a profound impact on the lives of his students at Hallsville Intermediate. Hallsville ISD is proud to have James Vickery as part of our team. So. Whoa. I got coverage for about an hour. Easy. All right. So this will be what's going on at Intermediate, and we're going to cover the past thankfulness, the current thankfulness, and our future thankfulness here. So when we talk about how we did in the past, we're talking about some of our data here. We met our district goals, which was our 30, 60, 90 in approaches, meets, and masters. You can see down there on the bottom, this is our 5th grade. They're now 6th grade students, so these students are now at the junior high. So our current 5th grade teachers This is how their students performed on the Reading Star. And then again, we met those goals in math. Again, the 30, 60, 90 there. Sixth grade. And then science, we have just short of the 90, but we know what areas we need to work on that. We've identified some things that we can do, but again, on our masters, we're really proud of that number as well. This is the first time that the students would take a science STAR test, is in 5th grade, and so we're pretty proud of how they performed last year. There it goes. So this is our 4th grade, now our 5th grade, so these are the students that are currently at intermediate. 30, 60, 90, you can see on approaches, we're at the 85 on approaches, and that gives us some students to identify there, some things that we may get to tweak and get them up to that 90% in reading. Again, on math, these are the current 5th grade students. And again, we've got a couple numbers, and we'll get to the 30, 60, 90 for the district goal there. So then this grade, this will be their first time again to take the science. This is also going to be the first time that our students will take the STAR test completely online. Last year it was just science, took it online, 5th grade science students, and this year everybody will take it online. We also had our parent night, so that was held back a few months ago in the park. Had a great turnout, wonderful time. You can see me up there on the top left getting dunked by my son. That was awesome. And then some other kids there that we got to enjoy that. And then you guys can see in the middle down there, that's Officer Hill. That's our new SRO on the left. And then one of his old buddies showed up down there too. So it's really good to see him out there. So current thankfulness. So I don't know if you guys heard about it or not, but we had the American Indian Leaders Youth Council come from Oklahoma. They came down and they had shared some of their culture, some of their birthday celebrations and kind of how they celebrate those types of things. It was really neat. The other cool part is if you see up on the top picture there where it's the whole group, on the far left, my left, that is Amber Weiniger, the assistant principal. That's her mom. She's a principal at one of the schools that brought the students down. So those students, those are middle school and high school students. And so at first it was really cool for me to watch the intermediate students watching this whole show, I guess you could say. But then I found myself watching those middle school and high school students going, this is the first time that they've got to do this in front of students as well. And so seeing how they interacted, super nervous when they first got there, but then by the time we got to the birthday celebration where they get in circles and do all kinds of noises and things like that, they were having a good time with our kids, and we had a really good time. On the far right, they showed us how to play stickball, so we're still trying to talk Coach Jolly into making some sticks to play stickball, but we don't know if that's going to happen yet. But it was a good time. Also, so another thing that we started this year is we have now, our students are doing morning announcements. How would I click on this? If you click, there's a link that's attached to it.
I don't know if it's going to allow me to.
Yes, ma'am. Will it do it? Yeah, so this is our students, and I'll tell you a funny story when they get done there.
Good morning, Hallsville Intermediate students and staff. Today is Thursday, November 10th, 2022. I'm Zoe Richardson, and with me is... Who is with me today?
Sarah Turlington,
Ashley Comer. Oh, okay.
please stand for the pledges. United States Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now for the Texas Pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence.
ABC. Today's birthdays are Layla Baker and Julian Shirley. Happy birthday. Come up to the office after announcements for a birthday surprise. There are no staff birthdays. Today's word of the week is temporary. Temporary, lasting for only a limited period of time, not permanent. The artificial breeze from the fan provided only temporary relief.
Tomorrow will be a high of 79 and a low of 56.
And now for our college spotlight. After Hallsville comes. The world awaits for each of you to make your mark on society in all that you say and do. So start thinking and dreaming of what each of you will become and ask yourself after Hallsville comes. This week's college spotlight is Kilgore College. Welding at Kilgore College. Welding is permanently joining metal parts by applying heat to the pieces to form a permanent bond. Because of its strength, welding is used to construct and repair ships, automobiles, spacecrafts, and thousands of other manufactured products. And to join beams when constructing bridges, buildings, and other structures. Start paying for graduates. It is up to $24 per an hour in the East Texas area.
Don't forget, early release tomorrow at 12:30.
Also, don't forget this week is Penny Wars. And also, don't forget the winning family gets a Whataburger party. Have a great day and remember the Bobcat way. Be kind, be resilient, and be Bobcat proud. Go Bobcats!
So a couple of things real quick on those. So we did just finish up the Penny Wars. We had a little assembly this morning. Just that fifth grade group alone, they were able to raise $6,404. And so it was very, very, very special to see what they were able to do in 3 weeks. We did spend some time making sure they understood what they were giving to. Of course, we did have a competition going, and so you had winning classes. And so the winning class was the structured learning class, and it went so far as to there were families, there were classes that were donating to the structured learning bucket, which was really kind of cool to see our kids seeing the bigger picture on a lot of things. And so it was really special to see that, and then us getting to announce to the students how much money they raised. So that was really cool. Another neat thing about these announcements, the students wanted to do it. SP Squared students wanted to do it. They asked if they could. I said, yeah, go ahead. So Ms. Cargill is kind of heading off that group. And so she had a family emergency, and so she was out for 2 days. And the students convinced the substitute to let them do announcements. Well, they automatically go to the quick links and all that kind of stuff. Well, little did we know, the students were still down. Like, we thought we just didn't have announcements because Ms. Cargill was out, and she's usually the one that, no, the students did the whole thing. They made the video, because everything's pretty well kind of mapped out. But they made the video, they put it together, they put the titles of each one's name in there, and then they also put it on the quick link. So for those 2 days, we still had announcements. It was really cool to see, and they were able to do that in a short amount of time. They learned how to do all those things. So it's cool to see them take ownership in that and do those kinds of things. So another cool thing that we just got, and we're still kind of learning how to incorporate some of this and make it an effective teaching tool, but it was too good to turn down, which is that 3D printer. There is a 3D printer that was donated by the Crump family. You can see them, the adults there are the ones that donated that, and so we've done quite a bit of learning on that. And we also found a way to start to incorporate some of the students' work in there. So if you see the young man on the left, he wants to be an author, so he wrote a book. And so that's how it started, is he wrote the book, and Miss Proctor, our new librarian, she, of course, publishes it and puts it up for other students to see. Well, Mr. Crump saw it, and he was like, well, I can make that ghost. And so he actually made one of the characters in the book into a 3D figure there, and that student is like, you can't get him out of the clouds anymore. So he's working on his next book, so we can get another character there. So again, we're still learning some things on the 3D printers and how we can start incorporating that with some instruction. Of course, so this was what they're talking about with after Hallsville comes. We want to make a point to incorporate, college and even technical, vocational skill type jobs as well. So we like to kind of give some things to the students to be thinking about in some of those announcements. So our future thankfulness is some things that are coming up. Of course, we've got the Southwest Dairy Cow visit. I saw that for the first time last year. That's really cool. I didn't know they did that stuff anymore, but they bring a cow out there and they actually milk the cow, and they go through the whole process of how all the pasteurization, all the things that happen with all of that. So that's coming up November 30th. We've got them coming out. We have a choir concert. We're going to get to use the new high school auditorium, so the students are really excited about that. They'll get to do that on December 13th. And then we've actually got it scheduled for May. We're trying to work out the details on times and how big the groups can be or need to be for Laterno to allow us to come in and them give us an actual tour of the campus and see the different aspects of kind of some college life. So we're trying to plant some seeds. I know early, but we still want to try to plant some of those seeds. And then I think the biggest one that we're excited about is getting sixth grade starting next August, and I'm pretty sure everyone in the room is too. So we're looking forward to that, and that planning process. We'll continue to talk about that and all the things that need to happen for that transition to go smooth. So that is pretty much what's going on at intermediate. Any questions?
You guys have any questions for Mr. Heckrell?
No?
Thank you, Mr. Heckrell.
All right, thank you.
Open forum. Nobody wishes to speak. Okay, board, we have our consent items. Anybody have anything questions or motion? I got a motion by Doug McGarvey to approve consent items.
I'll second.
Have a second by Troy. All in favor? 4-0 opposed. Have our information items. Two 30-day reads. We have our register report. Donation of supplies from I-5. Anybody have any questions on these? Moving on to our action items.
Now let's do bond updates.
Okay, we're gonna do that.
So let's do bond updates. Shannon, why don't you come on up first, please? Give us a West Elementary update and where we are today.
Good afternoon, guys. Moving along, got fire sprinkler inspection set for Monday, fire alarm set for Monday. Once we get through that, that's gonna allow for the Wednesday big move. Got TK set up to have a temp elevator, basically have them accessing, running us up and down, get the boxes into the teacher's classroom so you guys set up. Waiting on the state inspection date to get the elevator signed off. Hopefully have more information on that within the next couple days. That way we get that finalized. Project's moving, landscaping's going well, concrete's going in, get the rest of sidewalks, canopies are started up. About the second week in December, we should have the rest of the floors down. And final cleaning's moving along, so it's starting to come together, and hopefully before the Christmas break, most of them will be gone, and we'll have a few people in there cleaning up a few miscellaneous items. So at the next board meeting, I will have a list of some missing parts that we're all aware of. Daktronics, the marquee sign, stuff like that. That'll come in probably right around time kids are in school, so I'll give you the list. You guys give me dates when we can get in to get those items complete for you as soon as possible.
You said TK is gonna have a representative there on Wednesday
Yes.
for the move?
Yep. That way we're set up.
So next Wednesday, and I think it was board meeting prior than last month that I missed. What about the temporary occupancy?
Working on that right now. We've met with the city, they were out on Thursday, actually Wednesday. Once we get right now the fire alarm is being monitored. It's not signed off 100%. That allowed us to get our furniture in. Once we get signed off and we have active fire alarm, everything signed off, fire sprinkler system signed off, city's not opposed to letting the staff start coming in and setting up their classrooms in small groups, as long as we have that. So that'll take suit with getting your TCO.
That's gonna be this Wednesday?
No, the moving
No,
is
we're
this
getting
Wednesday. The
inspections, we're getting
is
inspections Monday.
Coming
They're
up
both
Monday.
called out.
And how soon after the inspection does the temporary occupancy come in?
As soon as I get the parking lot striped, but you guys, staff can start coming in. Once we're fully monitored, staff can start coming in and setting up the classrooms per the city's inspectors.
So Doug, the hold up on the fire alarm final is, there's two small sections, the ceiling on the second floor that we've had some issues with from the design documents. Those are the last two going in. Once those are finished, they're working on them right now, and they'll be working on through the weekend. Once those devices are installed and they can program them, then we should be no issues. The classrooms are done, they've been done, they've had architectural punch. I mean, we went through every one of them. There's just a few small places that have been holding that up. In the city, they can act on that kind of how the fire marshal decides he wants to. So there's certain buttons there that we kind of push. You gotta be careful how much you push on. But that's kind of the holdup on that. I don't see any issues with it coming through. And then ThyssenKrupp to run the elevator, that's kind of a liability deal for ThyssenKrupp until the state inspector can sign off on it. Those guys kind of show up when they want to.
Right, so do we have an idea of when we're planning for him to show
So
up?
there's one in Dallas and there's one in Shreveport, and ThyssenKrupp has to schedule that guy because they have to be there with him. They're gonna shuffle the product for us, but as far as final in that elevator, the elevator contractor schedules the inspector, and they're hit or miss. I mean,
It's called in for a final.
Yeah, it's called in.
Yeah.
But we don't get to schedule the day. They tell us when they're gonna come. And that's not just here. That's on.
Well, I've dealt with state inspection before.
So, yeah, it'll happen. I mean, we're gonna get it, but we're gonna have temporary use of it to get the boxes moved up to the second floor.
What about the alarm machine?
They're out there, they're working on it. They started yesterday, yeah. Starting on the building, they're tying in drains right now, and awnings will start working the backside around to the front. But they started putting the stuff on the building yesterday, and they'll be out there through the weekend is what we're pushing them.
They're gonna lock the gate, keep them in so they can't.
I'm gonna be out there with them. It's a daily email, trust me.
I know it's hard to get them out there.
Yes, it's a daily one, but we had a meeting on Monday with every last contractor that's gotta finish up. Bob Levine came out and with us. I had John there, we all spoke in the gym, so we're there. They know what's gotta happen.
Not to put you in there on the hot seat, but both of y'all 100% confident.
Yes,
Come January,
yes, sir.
buses and cars going to that school and we're dropping kiddos.
Yes, sir.
100%.
If not, I'll be buried out there as the monument sign.
That's all I need to hear.
So,
We're gonna be 100%, I'm good with it.
You're gonna be there. So I think if everybody would just show up, we could be out right at Christmas, maybe punch list items from the architect and, cleaning. I think that's where we're gonna be at. If everybody shows up, but we're gonna get you there.
Which were the guys that haven't done a tour? Lee, I don't know the last time you done it, I think Dale went.
Haven't been.
John can go into more detail, but those classrooms, even at that time, 95 to 99% done and the doors are locked. They've already been cleaned. So,
We have the cleaning company in there right now in section 4. They're doing the last final cleaning. Nobody's going in them again. If somebody's in there, it'll be our assistant superintendent, and it'll be getting documented, and if there's so much as dust on the carpet, the cleaning people are gonna be sending a bill back to Stiles or whoever it is that has to be in that classroom. They are done. We walked, we did our punch list with the architect on Wednesday. Yesterday, we were in there, and I went back through this morning, because I saw a few things that I didn't like that they didn't do, and I made them fix it before they got the cleaning people in there. So,
So
they're
when guys
locked.
come back to school, will it be anything, I mean, you're giving us your commitment that it's gonna be done.
Mhm.
Is it gonna be completely done? Like, are we still gonna be working on things while kids are there, it's done?
You're gonna have the monument plaque on the inside,
Yeah.
the marquee sign, the Daktronics Message Center outside.
Yep.
As far as I can see, that's it. We have the dedication plaque, your Hallsville plaque. That's the only things that I know of right now. I'll let you know.
The landscaping.
The landscaping, they're trying to be done, they were trying to be done today,
I saw
but with
trees
the
planted.
weather,
Yeah.
if you go by there today, they're rolling sod.
Okay.
We were rolling sod, I'm not, he saw it. We were finishing concrete sidewalk and they were rolling sod right next to them.
Three days ago, there was no grass, and right now, there's 50% of it's already laid, and, I mean, though they're moving. It's changing at a very rapid pace on the outside, and the inside right now.
Yeah. Take a drive through there. I'll be there tomorrow. You guys wanna come through? Come see me.
Hey, so back to Doug's question, anything that comes up, and there will be stuff, but anything comes up punch-out wise, once we get our 700 plus in that building, you guys will do that after hours and when we
Yes, sir.
ask you to?
Yeah, if we have to be there meeting with guys from 4 to 8 o'clock at night, yes, sir.
Gotcha.
But I'm hoping we can get our punch-out done before you guys get the students in there. But if not, yes. And anything after that,
Punch list will be complete before anybody moves in, so what you're talking about is a warranty. If something comes up and there's an issue somewhere.
yeah.
A teacher has an issue with something, if it's a furniture issue, it'll go to Hoskins, and then it'll go to Indico, which doesn't have anything to do with WRL. If it's a contractor issue, it'll go from Hoskins to Ben, to me, or whoever, so that TDR or Styles or whoever can come out and fix it. And there'll be a log kept of that, because Huckabee, the design team will do a 12-month inspection and walk on the sidewalks, the driveways, everything. And we'll go back through the whole thing again after a 12-month period. So all those things that were warranty items, there'll be a logbook of that, so that everybody's aware of it when we go back to do that annual inspection to close out the warranty period, whenever that is. And I don't know what the document say.
Yes, you'll be
Appreciate
there.
it.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, John, anything you want to share on Performing Arts Center?
The auditorium update, myself and Huckabee walked it for a final punch list that was down to 2 or 3 items that they had to work on. The performing arts graphics package for the outside was ordered a month and a half ago maybe, and they said 8 to 12 weeks, so I look for that to show up probably sometime right after the first of the year. There was some miscellaneous interior graphics that we added that weren't originally in the documents. That stuff should all, I'm hoping it all shows up at the same time. I walked that building with principal, and we kind of made a list of miscellaneous furniture, chairs for the control booth, some stuff. I'm waiting on Indico to give me a price on that to see where it's at, but it was a bunch of random miscellaneous, 5 chairs here, 6 chairs there. Other than that, I think we're in good shape on that facility. And I mean, he left. If you drive by there, you won't recognize the outside of the building as far as the grass and the trees and all that now. It's changed. The landscaping guy he's getting after it. He's pushing the concrete guy pretty hard right now. The
Will it
concrete
be a
guy.
12-month walkthrough on the auditorium by Huckabee as well?
Yes, sir.
So when they do that, I'm guessing, well, you've already said they're doing it on both the school and the, man, we got to go saying auditorium.
PAC.
Performing arts.
PAC, we just call it the PAC.
Once they do that, if they find anything, is it a true inspection?
Yeah, so what we'll do, walk through it. Typically they do it, and I don't know which one, who from there, I can ask Brad to find out. Somebody from Huckabee will come walk every square inch of it. If there's an issue, they'll document it, and they'll get with us, somebody from the district, and go, hey, here's what we've got. You know, it may be a sidewalk that's cracked. Do we want to make on what it is. So it'll be an inspection with an observation report, and anything on it that shows as a deficiency, we get the opportunity to evaluate it and go, okay, yes, it's truly something wrong here. We need to tear this section out and fix it, or we need to fix a piece of drywall, or whatever it may be, a toilet partition, something, I mean, it could be anything. Same thing will happen at the elementary.
So if it was on the new elementary school, would it be WRL's responsibility to come back in and fix that, or is it on Huckabee?
No,
Sir?
WRL at the subcontractor.
Okay. Yeah, I get it, I'm just trying to think through something. Thank you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Hey, John, Shannon didn't mention, and we hadn't talked about playground equipment at West.
So Reed's finishing up the back sections of concrete that the playground equipment, the playground equipment's ready to be delivered and installed. It's gonna get, all the equipment will get set and put together, and then on those two playgrounds, we went with the, poured-in-place rubber fall zone instead of the wood chips or the little rocks or whatever the kids carry into school, so that they can't do that. So we're waiting to finish the sidewalks, because that rubber stuff pours right up next to the sidewalks to make a finished product. But it's ready, it's scheduled and should be installed before kids occupy. The only
Yes.
thing that I know of that you won't have is the Daktronic sign.
Yeah, the one out front, yeah, that's,
Coolers and freezers are in, everything in the building will be 100% up and installed and operational before kids go in.
okay, all right, thank you.
Ms. Sherry Morton, consider approval of out-of-state band travel.
Good afternoon. We would like you to consider to give us approval to go on our senior band trip this year. We would be going over spring break. We would leave on the Friday after school, travel by bus at night, and then we're calling it the senior road trip. We're going to a bunch of places for them to see how music really works and how the different music is provided and played. We're going to start out, we'll go through Memphis, Tennessee, see everything Elvis, go to Sun Recording Studio, see all that stuff there, go on up through Nashville, Tennessee, and of course go to the Grand Ole Opry. I have a former student that is a big promoter in Nashville, and we're trying to get backstage passes to go on the Grand Ole Opry to see some folks there. Also, he's going to take us to the RCA recording studio and let the kids see how everything is recorded. So those are the kind of things we're doing in Nashville. Country Music Hall of Fame is there. The Rock and Roll Music Hall of Fame is there, so we're going to do those things there. Go on up to Dollywood, get into some of this Appalachian and bluegrass music, and the Southern Gospel Music Hall of Fame is in Pigeon Forge, where we'll go there. Go up through the Smoky Mountains, and on a tour there on our way to the Ark Encounter. We're going to see the replication of Noah's Ark, and then head back home. So we'll be gone a total of 5 nights, stay in hotels 4 nights, on the bus 1 night, and then come back home to Hallsville and be back on Wednesday of spring break. So at the present time, I have 28 out of 32 students that would like to go. The 4 that don't want to go already had other plans, but we always make provisions that any child that wants to go, we help them raise the money to go on the trip. The band booster provides part of it. School doesn't have to provide anything toward this trip. Also have 19 adults that plan on going if we're allowed to do this.
Is the former student Roundtree?
Yes.
So I guess he graduated in 99, I think.
Yes, he did. Uh-huh.
At the reunion, he got the most interesting job.
He is doing great there. He is doing great. He's one of the top promoters in Nashville now. Lives in a big old house.
So,
Anybody have any questions?
I'll second it. You got it started. Go ahead. I'll second.
I have a motion by Troy Crafton. I have a second by Lee Gall. All in favor? 4-4, none opposed.
Thank you guys
Thank
very
you, Ms.
much.
Morris.
Appreciate it.
Okay, next we have a donation. Coach Mitchell, go ahead, John.
Yes, sir, Mr. Haney. This is a anonymous couple of donations for our golf program. 8,000 total. It was 2 donors, 4,000 each. And this is to purchase golf simulators in the near future for our boys and girls golf to practice on.
Anybody have any questions?
I move to approve the donation of two donations of $4,000 each to the Hallsville ISD golf program.
A motion by Lee Goss presented, a second by Doug McGarvey, all in favor? 4-4, none opposed. Consider approval of additional service agreement for bond project manager, Ms. Brown.
Good afternoon, board members. Yes, if you'll remember back at the July meeting, we had a similar agreement to extend through October. The services of Mr. Erickson on finishing out the projects related to West Elementary and the Performing Arts Center. So this agreement just extends that for another additional 2 months through November and December at the same rate, the same monthly rate that he was receiving in the prior months.
I'll make a motion to approve. I figure he's gonna milk it anyway. Full-time employee.
So we need to start getting him some purple to wear. He's been here so long.
Absolutely.
I have a motion by Troy Crafton, I have a second by Doug. Any questions? All in favor? 4-4, none opposed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Consider approval of vendor over 50,000. Ms. Amy?
All right, these are going to be coming to you monthly, as long as the data is having a good return. And so this one is for the one-to-one tutorials through FEV Tutorial Company for TIVA. It's for House Bill 4545. And it is paid through ESSER supplemental. And so this one is $249,500.
I got you got FEV tutorials and the next one is varsity tutors.
Yes.
They're for basically the same thing.
I'm going to let Julie explain that because she explains it much better than I do because she's the one that's actually using it. So,
The descriptions look the same.
So FEV is providing one-to-one service for all of our students, for about 8,500 of them. And then for varsity tutors, they have 2 programs, and for this one that we're asking for, they're doing one-to-one and 1-to-3, and they're servicing our English 1 and our English 2 9th and 10th grade students to focus on the star writing. So they're basically the same types of services, but we're pinpointing them for specific expectations for those grade levels.
And then I have a question, Ms. Julie.
Yeah.
Is one of these or both of these kind of piggybacking from last month on?
It's continual because the kids are still going, so
Okay.
this could be coming to you every month for a
Okay.
while.
I think Jay just wanted us to be aware that some of it's from last month carrying on over to this
It's
month.
a
and so
continual
on.
service that we have. Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions?
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Troy Crafton to approve as presented,
Second.
second by Lee Gall. More questions? All in favor? 4-4, none opposed.
Okay, so this one is the varsity tutors that she was speaking to.
I move to approve.
I second. Lee and I have already read it.
I got a motion to,
You did a great job of explaining it. I
Yeah.
thought it was the same thing too. I just brought the individual, so I'll second what Lee said.
I got a motion to approve as presented by Lee Gall, second by Troy Crafton. Any questions? All in favor? 4-4, none opposed.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Ms.
Julie.
That was easy, wasn't it?
Mr. Dean, consider approval of painting of intermediate 6.
All right. Good afternoon, not good evening. So good afternoon, gentlemen. We've got a couple of things that we're looking at. The first one on here on deck is to the finish of painting of intermediate 6. that is, as soon as we move out and go to West, that's going to afford us opportunity to get what we can, all that we can get done in the I-6 campus before we start moving people. So I know they're very excited. We're looking at doing the same scenario we did kind of at the junior high a couple years ago. We found that the cheapest, or the most inexpensive way to get the most for our dollars is to efficient way is to etch the tile, prepare all the tile, etch it, and paint it. And so that's what this project is mainly for. Obviously, the classrooms and cafeteria, there's no tile there, but this is for the painting of that project. We went out to 3 vendors. It's getting hard to find vendors that are available to come. We had one that was a no bid that just didn't have time to do the job. So we're recommending Scott Nolan Painting for the sum of $391,100. This will be funded out of bond money, and this project will start as soon as possible, probably January 1st.
Have we used them before, Ben?
Yes, Scott Nolan did he actually did the junior high. And this actually is also for all the exterior of the building as well. Obviously not the brick, but all previously painted surfaces. So like your awning and that kind of stuff.
Ben, who did the last 2 campuses for us? Do you remember what company that was? Was it one of these there?
Scott Nolan, yeah, Scott Nolan.
And you're happy with them?
Yeah, they've done a lot of work. They're fast. That's what they do.
All in all, they are pretty close.
Very close.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion? Motion to approve, as presented by Doug McGarvey. Have a second by Lee Gobb. All in favor? 4 for, none opposed. All right, Ben, consider approval of playground equipment for I-5.
Playground equipment for I-5. We had some left or ESSER money that was assigned for this to add some additional playground equipment for the I-5 campus. I looked at trying to do some different, yes. Yeah, I think money.
Painting renovation.
Correct. You can go back to that one.
Painted east.
Painting at East. That's basically the same thing at East. We painted last summer. We got all the classrooms done. Now we're looking at doing the office, the C-wing, basically the remaining part of the building except for the gym and except for the library, because we just did that a few years ago. So we're looking at all the ceilings, carrying that same color scheme that we did, just freshening up that, getting rid of the Maverick red on the trim and getting it to black at least, and we're going to put some a little bit more Bobcat purple around, things like that. Scott Nolan Painting was also bid that job. Let's see, let me get the right one here. Yes, $130,500 is who admin is recommending for that. We're also going to do the dining rooms, the teacher lounge. I can go from there. There we had several other painters as well. Some of these other painters, actually, we contacted the others as well, but they weren't able to come.
Questions? I got a motion by Troy Crafton to move or approve as presented. Do I have a second? Second by Lee Gobb. All in favor? 4 for, none opposed.
Now you can go to playground equipment.
That should be back to correct.
The next is the
This one we got.
playground.
Since I had the hard copy, probably that
Yes,
probably
yes,
came out after I got my board.
that's correct.
That's-
Okay, we playground next.
Yes, sir.
Playground, we were looking, like I said, to add some additional playground equipment. Their campus has grown. We had a small playground set of equipment there. They've got some swings and some tether balls and some other things. I tried to look at something different, because it is going to be 5th grade. So, maybe not so much castles and things to climb on because they already have that. So me and Mr. Heckrell looked with his staff and thought a lot of the newer things they're going to are like climbing equipment, like kind of ninja course kind of stuff. The biggest one we looked at, it was going to be too tall. I was a little afraid when you start getting up 25 foot up. I thought, we don't want a kid falling. So the good one there is Child's Play. It kind of struck a balance of number of kids that could play on it, also versus cost. And we're recommending that sum of $90,803 to Child's Play to install that playground. There's some pictures of it if you scroll up. I don't know if I think you've seen it in your board book, but Keep going. It'd be the second one, that one. So it's kind of a little bit of a ropes course thing, a little different than what they had. That includes all the rubber mulch, all the playground stuff underneath, and things like that.
Any questions?
Move to approve.
I have a motion by Lee Gall, I have a second by Troy Crafton, all in favor? 4, none opposed?
East floor.
And the flooring at East. This also finishes up our flooring project there in the main hall. We've got a lot of tile. We're carrying that same LVT tile stuff throughout the building. This will almost eliminate, if I'm not mistaken, everywhere that we're requiring to have floors be waxed and stripped and waxed and all that, where everybody's going to this newer flooring, which is just swept, and then you can use a nice floor machine, things like that, less labor intensive, good product, lasts well. We've had it in several places now. This continues that flooring throughout the rest of the building. Again, other than the gym side, there's a little strip right there by the gym. We're looking at Larry's Interior for $121,540. We've got some color patterns that are nice. We're going to put a little purple on the sides, and there's some renderings of that. If you, I think you guys have all seen that, but we've been real pleased with the floor, how it's holding up. It's good stuff.
Any questions? Do I have a motion? Motion by Troy Crafton to approve as presented, do I have a second? I got a second by Doug McGarvey, all in favor? 4, none opposed?
All right, the last one here is the North Elementary Canopy Project. This we've been trying to get done for quite a while. We've finally been able to get the vendors in the right spots and getting everything done. They're ready to pour concrete as of tomorrow if this is approved, if you guys approve that. This is going to add the additional covered pickup area to the, if you're looking at the building, it'll be to the right side. So as they're coming in from where the portables are, not to the portables, all the way where that sidewalk ends, all the way to the front door. The canopy is to match. If you notice, some of the other prices were a little bit different, but H&C Sheet Metal, this is here local, they actually fabricate everything themselves, and they're gonna custom make it to match. Some of the other vendors and some of the other bids, they kept wanting us to use a different type of an awning, and I was like, well, we can't do that. It's got to match the building. Otherwise, that would look really bad, in my opinion. So this will match what we have. We're adding the sidewalk piece of it is to make it from a 5-foot to a 10-foot sidewalk to match so that it's covered all the way. So if they have to stand under the rain, they will be covered.
How much longer is that gonna make it then, as far as the increase?
I wanted to say, I should know that off the top of my head. I think it was, it's approximately 205 feet in length.
So it's almost double of what we
It's
got
almost
now.
double what we have.
And that should speed it up to give bid.
Yeah, it'll help with, definitely with pickup and drop off.
Any other questions?
Ms. Scholes will be very excited if you vote for this.
It spurred something. We got the snow and the ice and
Mhm.
the other canopies. Was that something that was covered by insurance?
Yes, we did insurance. Mary, we had an insurance claim on that, yeah. And a lot of those, it was interesting, not to get too far off, but the way the awnings were so close to the building, I happened to be out here and witnessed one of them fall. It was when all the snow slid off the roof, it started to melt, it slid off the roof, and the awnings were right there, and then all that weight landed on them, and then they fell. So that was... Yeah, I think I got a video of one of them, yeah. I happened to be, luckily, I was standing there, me and David Smith were out running around in the snow, pulling him around in a sled behind the truck, but no, we weren't.
Any other questions? I have a motion by Troy Crafton, I have a second by Doug McGarvey. All in favor? 4.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. We'll get started on these right away.
I got one more, Ben.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, no, go ahead.
I'm the next. On the department reports.
Are you still looking into it? You waiting on bids, surveys, parking lot baseball?
Parking lot baseball, we've got some quotes back. It's right around, they're right close to a little bit more than what we've budgeted. What Mr. Martin and I have discussed is we're gonna bring those to you as soon as we're ready to start. It's really a timing issue. Obviously, we're afraid with baseball season coming and the way the weather looks, I don't know. It looks like something that we're probably going to
Yeah,
end
we
up waiting.
looked at that. The earliest that we can even think about starting is gonna be after this next season, because if you started, I told Ben this, if you started tomorrow, you're not gonna be completed by the time baseball starts to practice and gets down in that hub.
I'm fine with that.
So-
The only thing I wanna make sure is, even if it's a second bid, I think you and Jay have talked about this, what it would take to connect the bus lanes in the back.
Oh, we could go ahead and add that as an ad alternate at this time if we wanted to.
We could, yeah, and actually, Joe Hart, the schematic he's drawn up has the ingress, egress gonna be built into the parking lot, so when we're ready, we can just put the road over. I'll send you some pictures.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I think that bus traffic, getting that all behind those three schools would be huge. Because right now, one of those buses going to the school, they pull back out,
Right.
pull back into the second.
Right.
I mean, they're right next door to each other, all three of them. They can enter one way and exit one way, and I think it'll move that traffic a lot better.
Well, maybe I'll suggest we could certainly have them do that as the ad alternate, maybe, or something like that, or put it all together. That'll give us time. We can bring that to the, just go ahead and,
Funds are there, once we talk to Miss Mary over there, we'll find some money. I'd like to see about going ahead and doing it all. That way
Okay.
there's no add alternate 2 years.
and just go,
You know what, it's nobody's fault on this, but we've been talking about this baseball parking lot for
Years.
3 years now. So I don't wanna wait another 3, and
yeah,
if that's gonna only be some pain and traffic over there, I'd rather go ahead.
okay. We'll add that to it and get a price, get that to Mr. Martin and then Mary. We go from there.
Right, Mary?
And then we could look at the home side too. We're looking to have Johnson Pace or somebody do some design work to have that ready as well.
You almost need 4-wheel drive, I think, on some of this.
Yeah, that's pretty rough, pretty rough, pretty rough.
One of the things, for that baseball parking lot, let's don't wait till in the baseball season to go out for bid, because we probably,
Yes, sir.
that's a busy time for those contractors, so if we can have everything ready to go, and as soon as baseball season's over with, they move right in,
Okay.
Design
Design work's done, so what we'll do is I'll jump on the phone with Mr.
That's a
Hart
great point. That's
and
a
we'll,
great point, Lee. One of our issues is we're not getting them to stay on that quote longer than about 30 days.
Yeah.
And so we've got it, we wanna get all the RFPs out and everything involved and get our quotes April, so that as soon as we're done baseball, we can get started, so that the quote will be honored.
Yeah.
Erickson knows a good concrete guy, your buddy over west.
And I'm leaning toward crafting, so if we do go that direction though, there's probably some work that can be done on the bus side of it that won't affect the baseball side of it, to where the project does complete all at the same time.
and I did talk to Joe at one point. You could do that. Yeah.
Bus stuff.
I know you'll work with Roy on that and just see how,
Well, and again, the good thing is, God willing, here in the spring, obviously, we're moving into West. That campus is going to be vacant. So there's no kids playing. There's nothing going on in there. We could start doing whatever we need to do over there.
back behind the school.
Good point.
We can do that. Very good.
Thank you, Jim.
Anything else? Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Oh, was that it? Okay, you're good, thank you.
I have one more department report, Ms. Scott, I don't mean to put you on the spot. But, did you want to talk briefly about yesterday, or do you want to wait till next board meeting?
Oh, yesterday was phenomenal. Our new welding instructor, our ag mech instructor, hosted our first ever weld off at Hallsville ISD. About 15 to 16 teams arrived yesterday morning. They were lined up from the athletic area all the way down to where the buses line up. Teams of 3 to 5 students worked all day long. was just thrilled at the district participation and the participants that came from all over. One came from beyond Fort Worth, so it was an amazing day, and we took home the prize.
I know several of us went up there, but when I went, I was thinking I might see 3 or 4 teams, maybe 5 at the most, and it was like coming on a pipeline. there was rigs from the bus lane all the way past the practice field, and I was like, wow, I should have drove my truck.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. It was guys and girls on that pipeline stretch as Doug's talking about. As Dale's talking about. Hey, one thing I wanted to add real quick, and I told these guys earlier, it's so when we talk to industry out there in the world, some of the things they complain about is kids nowadays not having soft skills. And so soft skills, obviously, if you don't know, those are being able to look you in the eye, have a conversation, and not be prodded to get an answer. They just know how to conversate. I went over and talked to our welding boys yesterday morning. That was the best conversation I probably have had in the last 3 months.
And point out that one of those
is a junior high kid, absolutely. So that's very exciting. Very exciting what we're doing with our kids. That's awesome. So.
And I'm going to piggyback on the Harvest Festival. I believe that the Ag Mac won 4 out of 7.
I think so.
And I'm thinking they didn't have participation in the 3 that they did not win, I think. So,
and the grand prize
that's
was
awesome.
a swing set done by the junior high student, and I was impressed with the work, but I, like you, Mr. Martin, the conversation I had with him, my first question was, and it's a huge swing set, I said, how did you even come up with the idea for this project? And he looked me in the eye and he says, I have a little sister. And it just melted my heart. I mean, it was fresh.
Miss Gall, can they build that swing set, less than 90 arena?
I get your phone number. I bet Dad can help.
Mr. Haney had donate the pipe.
So, thank you for bringing that up.
I was very impressed, very, very impressed. It's great. Does anybody else have anything that they want to pull or comment on department reports? If not, I'll show us an executive session, 2 o'clock. All right, I have 3:30. Show us back. Open. After our executive session. Questions?
We got personnel.
Personnel?
I'll move to approve the employee personnel recommendation.
I have a motion by Troy Crafton. Second by Doug McGarvey. All in favor? 4, 0 opposed. Superintendent's report?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Obviously, this coming Monday, we'll start our Thanksgiving break, 21st through the 25th. Looking forward, they got a decent to the front. We started getting in high school
not the, it wasn't exactly the city. The 13-minute minute.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, well, I ate out of this one too. There's some bones. What? The buckle?
Yeah, you like the buckle, that's where you get your pants from, you like them, you like those patches on the back? Kathy said they look out. You don't have a comment for me?
I used to get a $700 allowance to buy FR clothes every year. And these are FR pants, jeans. I cut the orange tabs out of them so they don't show. And so I had like 6 pair I had stuffed under the bed that I'd saved brand new, my retirement pants. Hey, these got a little stretch in them too.
Y'all have a good Thanksgiving.
See y'all. Thank you. Here you go. Are you coming over here? I need to get